Good morning from sunny Arizona, where it is a frosty 45 degrees this morning. And if you have thyroid problems, then you know that you have that sensitivity to cold. And that is kind of always a thing, even after you've started to heal your thyroid. But in today's video, I want to talk about first some facts and myths about the thyroid, some misnomers that are pretty popular. And I also want to talk about my daily regimen that has helped me decrease my medication, which was just decreased yesterday again when I went back to my naturopath to talk about what I was taking, what I was doing, and what we could do to start to lower the dosage. And we successfully lowered the dosage, and I'm really excited about that. So she is helping me to work my way off the thyroid pharmaceuticals and switch only to food-based, plant-based tinctures, medications, that sort of thing to support my thyroid. So the first thing I want to talk about are some facts about the thyroid gland. And one fact that's not listed here is that the thyroid gland does not work alone. The thyroid gland is part of the endocrine system, and the endocrine system can be termed as the control center of the body, a lot like the nervous system. The thyroid, the endocrine system definitely has a lot of control over everything that goes on in everyday life. So our emotions, our body temperature control, our circadian rhythm, pretty much everything that happens in our body has something to do with the endocrine system. And they all work together and support each organ and gland all together. So if you have one malfunctioning gland or organ in the endocrine system, chances are you've probably got some other things going on in other parts of your endocrine system too, in particular the pituitary gland, because it has so much to do with the entire endocrine system. Okay, so starting out with the first fact here, 20 million Americans suffer from thyroid disease. 20 million Americans. Just to put that into perspective, that would be pretty much all the people that are in the state of Texas. So that's a lot of people that suffer from thyroid disease. And it can be attributed to toxins in the water and the food supply. In particular, fluoride in the water and processed chemicals in the food supply. So industrialized chemicals that they use to create food coloring and artificial flavoring, and the consistency of the food and the shelf life. All of those are endocrine disruptors, in particular the thyroid. The thyroid being right here, wrapped around your esophagus, the tracheal part of your esophagus. The thyroid gland's right here. It's about the size of a walnut. And every single thing you swallow passes by the thyroid gland. So that means that every single thing that you swallow is leaching into the thyroid and the parathyroid glands. Parathyroid glands are right on the back side of the thyroid gland, which will be discussed in another video. Second fact, 60% of Americans that have thyroid disease aren't even aware, because we have decided that as we age, we're supposed to feel bad. Things are supposed to hurt. It's supposed to be hard to move around, but that's not true. And a lot of that has to do with thyroid. Thyroid disease affects all systems of the body, which is very true. The thyroid gland provides energy to all systems of the body. So every single system in your body, your cardiovascular system, your pulmonary system, your digestive system, your renal system, every system in your body depends on the thyroid gland for energy. That's how important it is. Thyroid disease affects women more than men, and a lot of this has to do with childbirth and the strain that it takes on the entire endocrine system to create another human. And in conjunction with the food that we eat and the toxins that are in our water, this can be really hard on women after they start to have children. And the last fact I want to talk about here is that toxins from our food and water supplies have caused mostly all cases of thyroid disease. So if you're thinking about like the water that we drink, fluoridated water, it's common in most municipalities. They do fluoridate the water because it was proven that it counteracted the effect of sugar on our teeth. And they really wanted to sell sugar. So this was a good way to keep our teeth healthy while we were consuming foods that were killing the inside of our bodies. So also eating canned goods, in the very beginning when they started canning foods, which was when thyroid disease kind of came on the scene, they were canning um, foods in lead cans, and the lead, of course, was leaching into the food, and that started to cause thyroid disease because everything you swallow leaches right into the thyroid gland. Then introducing Coca-Cola, introducing convenience foods, fast foods, all of these foods that contain tons of chemicals and sugar, all of that added to the decline of thyroid health in Americans overall. Okay, let's go over some of the myths surrounding the thyroid gland. First of all, thyroid disease can be cured with pharmaceuticals like levothyroxine. Well, that is just plain old not true. Levothyroxine is a mild steroid that helps your thyroid gland to produce more T4. So think of like a plant, and you give it like a flowering plant, and you give it the fertilizer or whatever to help it like super bloom, right? I think it's called super bloom. And then all of a sudden you have a whole bunch of flowers all over your plant. Well, that's because the super bloom that you put in the dirt did the work that the plant does naturally, but it did it at a much higher level. And that's exactly how levothyroxine works in the thyroid. So it basically just encourages the thyroid to start producing more T4. But because it's not done naturally, once the steroid is taken away, then the thyroid gland has a really hard time producing T4 on its own without the initiation of the mild steroid, which is called levothyroxine. A simple T3 test will tell if your thyroid is out of balance, is another myth. Most doctors initially will just do a TSH level, which is the testing for the T3. That is not going to tell you the true story of your thyroid production. You need to know how much T3 you're producing and how much T4 you're producing so that you know if your body is able to produce iodine, because between T3 and T4, they come together to produce iodine. Iodine is what nourishes the thyroid, and then from that nourishment and that energy that it gathers from iodine, it sends energy to all the other systems of the body. So that's what happens when your thyroid's out of whack, and that's why. Because when those two numbers become out of balance, then you're going to end up having some energy issues. The next one is the higher your T3 number, the more active your thyroid. That's not true. So, and it's amazing to me how many doctors that I have spoken to that do not understand how to read a thyroid test. So the lower your number on the thyroid chart, like the lower your number on the thyroid test, the more active the thyroid gland, or the more production of T3 and T4 that you've got in your blood. The lower the number, the faster, the higher the thyroid. The higher the number, the slower the thyroid. So an underactive thyroid will have a higher reading than an overactive thyroid. An overactive thyroid will have a lower reading. So it's a little bit confusing to understand how all of this works. Okay, so according to the picture that you see here, TSH levels above 5.0 suggest that the thyroid is underactive, and then TSH levels below 0.04 suggest that the thyroid is overactive. So that shows you right there kind of how the numbers work. So as you can see, the normal range is pretty huge, and that can also be a total factor in how your doctor can help you get out of the whole thyroid medication cycle, because a good doctor is going to want to take a look at your diet, take a look at what supplements you're taking, and then they're going to want to know how you feel, and they're going to trust how you feel more than they're going to trust the numbers on this test, which is, in my opinion, a little flawed. The next myth I'm going to talk about is thyroid medicine helps you lose weight. I have heard this several times from people where they have literally said that thyroid medication was prescribed by their doctor to help them lose weight. And that is such a dangerous game to play, very similar to how doctors are now prescribing Ozempic for weight loss. And that is a drug to help diabetics. That is a drug to help your pancreas produce more insulin. That is a very dangerous way to lose weight, because then what happens? Just like with thyroid medication, you wind up dependent on this medication to produce insulin in your body. And what is that called? That is called an insulin dependent diabetic. The last myth I want to go over is fixing thyroid numbers will solve all my health problems. No, that's not the case. You have to fix your diet. You have to fix the entire endocrine system, because like I said, the hypo and hyperthyroidism many times is symptomatic of a malfunctioning pituitary and hypothalamus glands in the brain. So it's important to also make sure that you're nourishing those parts of the endocrine system as well. Okay, so I want to go over my regimen that I use every day to support my thyroid. With the help of my doctor, my naturopath, I have put together this regimen that has been very effective in helping me to overcome some of these thyroid issues and to start to decrease my medication. The first thing I want to mention is that let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food, not pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals do not need to be your medicine. It is, like I said, it's only making you dependent on the pharmaceutical is the only thing it's doing for you. It's not curing the disease. It's only making you dependent on the function of that the medication provides to the thyroid gland. So first of all, eating a very balanced diet is important. So lots of leafy greens, lots and lots of leafy greens. Leafy greens are important because of the amount of calcium they provide, and you cannot get that from a calcium tablet. The calcium that is supplied through the leafy greens helps support the parathyroid glands, which is part of the thyroid function. The parathyroid glands, by the way, are responsible for controlling the amount of calcium that's in the blood, and that has everything to do with your mobility. And so giving those parathyroid glands lots of calcium through leafy greens that are chewed in the mouth and absorbed through the skin in the mouth and then leached into the thyroid through the esophagus are much more effective than any kind of calcium supplement you can take, and you cannot get that from milk, from cow's milk. Okay. Also, healthy fats are super important for the entire endocrine system. Healthy fats like avocados and cashews and almonds and those type of fats, olives, those are really good choices for healthy fats. Now, as far as my daily regimen, most of these, with the exception of the vitamin B12 and the D3 and K2, I put into water or juice and drink it like that, dilute it. So all of these, except for like our normal supplements we take, like B12 and D3 and those sort of things that you have to take by mouth, you can mix them in with your drink and drink. It's much easier to get them down, and diluting them is good. It helps your body to distribute them a little bit better. So the first one I want to talk about is zinc. Natural zinc is really good. This is a really good part of supporting the thyroid gland. This is about immunity. This is just about overall protection. Zinc is great. Next one is cat's claw. Cat's claw is a great anti-inflammatory. It also helps to support the pituitary and hypothalamus, as well as the thyroid gland, and it helps to decrease inflammation throughout the entire body. Turmeric is the same thing. Turmeric is a great anti-inflammatory, but it kind of focuses more in on the liver and the kidneys. And that's all part of the endocrine system that needs support while healing the thyroid gland. Vitamin B12, vital for the thyroid gland. This selenium can be found in Brazil nuts, which are a great snack, and those are great to break up and put into whatever you are cooking. Brazil nuts have a very mild flavor, and they can add flavor to any dish, but you can also just snack on them. I really like those things. Vitamin A, key mineral for the thyroid production. Vitamin A is super important, so a dose of that every single day. Vitamin D3 and K2, those are both vital for thyroid production. Bladderwrack and iodine work together to support the thyroid gland. They are both iodine-rich supplements. Now, the bladderwrack is a form of seaweed, so you're getting lots of good iodine from that, and then the nascent iodine. So these supplements are what I have been using to decrease my thyroid medication, and it is working. Consistency is the key, though. Taking these things for 2 weeks and then deciding that they don't work is not going to do the trick. Supplements are different from pharmaceuticals. Supplements help the body heal itself. Pharmaceuticals mask the symptoms that prevent the body from healing itself. So when your body is healing itself, it takes its own sweet time, and nobody is the same. And you can't expect, if one person got results in 3 weeks, you can't expect that to happen with you. You have to see how your body is going to react to the supplement, work with a naturopath, and work towards, seeing some results on your own time. Don't expect anyone else's timeline to be your own, but it will happen. These are minerals that your body needs to operate at its highest level, especially when it comes to the endocrine system. Okay, lastly, I just want to talk about some foods that you can eat naturally that will support the thyroid function besides the leafy greens. We already talked about those, but those are super important. So a salad a day is a good idea. Okay, so here are some things that you can add to that salad, or you can add them to anything that you bake or cook. Or I like to make gluten-free cookies with almond flour and sugar. Don't use sugar, of course. I use coconut sugar or maple syrup, but I like to add a lot of these things to the cookies I make, and they're quite delicious, and they're fun to experiment with because you can add just about anything to them. But anyway, I have a lot of recipes on my Facebook page, so follow me there for lots of great recipes at Maximum Health. I'll add that into the link at the bottom. Be sure and remember to like and share. Should have said that earlier. Okay, so here's some foods you can use to help support the thyroid gland. Atlantic dulse. This is a seaweed. This can be sprinkled on top of your salad. It's quite tasty. It can also be put in a smoothie. Wild blueberries. Those are great just to snack on. Have in a fruit salad, have on your salad, on your green leafy salad. You can cut them up and put them in cookies. You can, well, not cookies with sugar, but good healthy cookies. Like, you can find those recipes on my Facebook page. Okay, sprouts. So like Brussels sprouts are my absolute favorite vegetable on the planet. And a great way to cook them is to grill them on your Blackstone or in an iron skillet with some avocado oil, and then top them with a little goat cheese. That's my favorite way to eat them. But it's great for your digestive system, but it's really good for the thyroid. Cilantro, one of the best things you can eat for your thyroid gland. Why? Because it's a heavy metal detox. What affects the thyroid gland? Heavy metals. So detoxing your body of heavy metals with blueberries and cilantro is super important. Cilantro can be added right to your salad. You can figure out a way to get cilantro into your diet every single day. And guess what? It is so easy to grow, and you can have fresh cilantro whenever you want it. Garlic. Oh, yeah. You can never have too much garlic, right? So garlic in everything you cook. Hemp seeds, those are great in a salad as well. Those are great for salad toppers. They're great in a smoothie. They're great to just snack on. Hemp seeds are really good for you. coconut oil. Using this in place of other oils like butter or olive oil is great. Or like whenever you're making a baked good, whenever you're making cookies, use coconut oil instead of butter. We talked about Brazil nuts. Can't talk about them enough. They're a great source of selenium, and selenium is really good for the thyroid gland. And then cranberries is last. I would opt fresh because most of the dried ones have a lot of added sugar. So I would opt for fresh cranberries, and you can cook those down with a little coconut sugar and make a really nice sauce. You can cook it way down and make kind of like a syrup using some coconut sugar that you can sweeten things with. Super easy, but cranberries are a really great source of antioxidants. Another is cloves. Making a tea from cloves is a great plan because cloves are really good for the entire endocrine system, along with elderberries. Elderberries and cloves are really great for the endocrine system. I do have antioxidant teas available for sale. You can find those by reaching out to me on my Facebook page, and I will get the information to you that you need. But I have lots of different teas that support the endocrine system, the pulmonary system, the liver, the digestive system, all kinds of different herbal teas, and they work really well. Thanks for watching. I hope you got some great, valuable information out of this video that will help you to move on and to support your thyroid, and to maybe, if you haven't gotten on medication yet, maybe you are having thyroid issues, maybe you can start a more natural, holistic approach before you end up on medication that you're going to have a really hard time getting off of. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. And remember to like and subscribe and share, and visit my Facebook page. Also, I'm including a link to my book, For the Love of Gut, which has a whole chapter 6, on the endocrine system. Bye-bye.